when you're ready. Just turn my headphones up a little bit and we can go. Let's get it. North, west, south, east. Hey, call the state your name, you online with the G. North, west, south, east. Where you from? What's on your mind? What you know? What you think? North, west, south. Hey, it's all good on some things, but just agree to disagree. North, west, south, east. Oh yeah, you're in the circle with the chief with true speeds. Hey, what's on your mind? Hey, let's talk about it. What's going down in your town? Hey, let's talk about it. Rep your city, state, and side when we talk about it. Truthfully speaking, it's where everybody talking about it. Yeah, we worldwide when they talk about us. Inspiring, changing lives when they talk about us. Special guests, open panel, all type of topics, changing information, free your mind, iron sharpen iron. Yeah, we online with the check-in. You better know we outside with the check-in. Man, we going worldwide with the check-in. Like, share, subscribe when the Chiefs about to check in. Yeah, it's going down. Check in. Sharing knowledge of the mind when we check in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. You check in, hit the bell, get notified when the Chiefs about to check in. Yeah, this is how it's going down, man. This is the new wave of internet radio, podcasting. Yeah, truthfully speaking, Chief Cali. Yeah, check in. One time for your host checking in. Yeah, the one and only Chief Cali.
Yo, Halito. Check this out, man. So I just ran across this video. Someone just sent me this video that I wanted to share with you guys. I thought it was a dope video. I thought it was a dope story. All right. So I definitely wanted to come through and share it with you guys, right? Because many of you know I am one who is not a believer in man-made religions. I do not follow any man-made religions. I just don't. I feel like religion was created to control the minds of the masses. There is nothing that you can prove about religion. It's a belief system. It's just simply something you choose to believe. Now, recently, I had a chance to go home, and my I had a conversation with my mother, who is a pastor, who is an elder. Um, I've been a preacher's kid all my life. My mother and father are both still preachers. But this is the first conversation that I actually have had with my mother. Now, me and my dad we've had many conversations dealing with religion and why I choose not to believe in any man made religions. Um, but this was the first time my mother and I had a chance to have a conversation um, about my reasoning for not believing in religions, and none of them at all. And also the reason I do not believe in the existence of a God or any gods due to lack of evidence of a God's existence. Okay. All right. So I want to show y'all this video. And this video it spoke to me, man, because this conversation that's being had is by two babies inside of a mother's womb. This conversation is by two babies inside of a mother's womb. But if you listen to the conversation, the babies are having the same conversation many of us have outside of the mother's womb. And I thought it was very dope. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the video one time, and then I'm going to come back and walk you through my perception of the video, right? Which speaks to me, which just kind of resonated with me. Okay, so let's get the video up. I'm going to put the video up, and I want you guys to listen to the story first, and then I'll come back and play it again and walk through the videos. I thought this was dope though. Check it out.
So one of my favorite stories is in a mother's womb were two babies, and one turns to the other and says, "Do you believe in life after delivery?" And the other replies, "Why, of course, there has to be something after delivery. Maybe we're here to prepare ourselves for what will be later." "Nonsense," said the first. "There's no life after delivery. What kind of life would that be?" "I don't know," said the second, "but there'll be more light than here. Maybe we'll walk with our legs and eat with our mouths. Maybe we'll have other senses we can't understand now." First goes, "That's ridiculous. Walking is impossible, and eating with our mouths, that's absurd. The umbilical cord is what scientifically supplies nutrition and all that we need, but it's far too short. Life after delivery is to be logically excluded." And the second says, "What if it's just different than it is here? Maybe we don't need that physical cord anymore." The first goes, "Okay, if there were life after delivery, then tell me, why has no one ever come back from there? Delivery is the end of life, and in the after delivery is nothing but darkness and silence and oblivion. It takes us nowhere." And the second says, "But certainly we'll meet Mother, and she'll take care of us." The first goes, "Mother? You actually believe in Mother? If Mother exists, where is she now?" And the second goes, "She's all around us. We are of her. It is in her that we live. Without her, this world would not and could not exist." And the first says, "I don't see her. It's only logical that she's not here." To which the second replied, "Sometimes, when you're in silence and you really listen, you can perceive her presence."
Now, I thought that was an amazing little story there, right? Now, I'm going to walk back through this story um, just to tell you what I hear, okay, or what I heard when I listened to this. Now, you may have a different perspective, as you should, maybe, this is my perspective. This is what I heard when I was listening to this, okay? It took me back to religion, all right? Um, Many people know that if I'm going to entertain a God concept, um, it will be more that we all are gods in our own right. We have the ability to create, we have the ability to take life, we have the ability to change things in the world. I can't prove anything outside of me is controlling anything. It's just something I can't prove. What I can prove is I have the ability to create, I have the ability to take life, I have the ability to change things in the world. So if I was going to entertain any God concept, it would be the God within me. You know, that's what I would entertain. Also, let me state my position when it comes to religion. My position is this: I do not say there is no God. I don't say there is no God for the simple fact that you have every right to come back to me and say, prove to me that there is no God. Prove that. Okay. And I can't prove that to you. And I know I can't prove that to you. But again, my position is I do not believe in the existence of a God or any God due to lack of evidence of a God's existence, which means I don't believe there's just somebody sitting over us saying, "Hey, I see you. Hey, don't do that. Hey, I'm coming down there if you do this." Hey, I don't believe there's something outside of us just sitting around monitoring everything we're doing. All right. I just don't. I have no reason to believe that. Um, but I understand what many of us were taught to believe. And many of us were taught this as little kids. So we grew up into our adulthood believing that there's something outside of us just standing over us, watching and telling us, "Hey, hey, 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 I can tell if you're naughty or nice. Hey, don't you do that. Hey," we all got this from a man made book. man-made literature. Some humans wrote this in a book and told us to believe that it was inspired by something called a God. Okay? Humans told us to believe this. Hey, believe me when I tell you a God told me to write this in a book, and you have gone along in your life believing this for whatever reason. Okay. All right. So let's play the video back. I really like this story. Let's go back. Let's go through the video.
So one of my favorite stories is in a mother's womb were two babies, and one turns to the other and says, "Do you believe in life after delivery?"
Now, for those of us who are outside of the mother's womb and we're in this other womb, we're in a whole nother womb of life, right? Which is this universe, which is this world. We're in a whole nother world. One question we always ask each other is, do we believe in life after death? That's a question we talk about in this realm of mother's womb. Do we believe in life after death? Well, these babies are asking, do you believe in life after delivery, which would be out here with us? Okay. I thought that was dope. So then the baby says,
And the other replies, "Why, of course, there has to be something after delivery. Maybe we're here to prepare ourselves for what will be later."
now, that would be us out here in this realm who says, of course, I believe in life after death. You know, there's a heaven and there's a hell. There's a heaven and there's a hell out, there somewhere. You can't prove that. It's just something you choose to believe. Nobody has ever proved that there's a heaven or a hell. It's just something you choose to believe. That's all religion is a belief system. It's just something somebody told you to believe and you believe it for whatever reason. But I like this conversation as it's um, kind of parallel to the conversation we have out here in the delivered world, after we come out the mother's womb and we're out here. So these are two babies talking as we talk out here in this world.
"Nonsense," said the first. "There's no life after delivery. What kind of life would that be?"
Now that sounds like me saying nonsense. I mean, come on, man. Like, ain't nobody ever proved that there's no heaven or no hell. Like, nobody's ever proved that, okay?
"I don't know," said the second, "but there'll be more light than here. Maybe we'll walk with our legs and eat with our mouths. Maybe we'll have other senses we can't understand now." First goes, "That's ridiculous. Walking is impossible, and eating with our mouths, that's absurd."
So this is why I'm one who, when you ask me about life after death, I always say, I don't know. Nobody knows. Because if we're listening to this story, these babies cannot perceive that there is another life out there, like or another way of life out there other than what they know right now. They can't perceive that there's a whole nother way of life out there. So this is why I say, when you ask me about life or death, I simply tell you, man, I don't know. I know ain't nobody came back and told me about no heaven or no hell, though. Maybe there's no heaven or no hell. Maybe you just go somewhere else, or maybe you just don't do anything at all. Maybe you just no longer exist at all. Maybe there is another life out there. Maybe you go transform into another form of energy, and who knows? So this is why I always say I don't know about an afterlife. But one thing I do know is no one has ever came back to prove that anyone has ever went to a place called heaven and anyone has ever went to a place called hell. So I'm going to suspend my belief on believing in a heaven or hell because somebody wrote that in a book to believe in, and I just have no reason to believe in it.
The umbilical cord is what scientifically supplies nutrition and all that we need, but it's far too short. Life after delivery is to be logically excluded. And the second says, "What if it's just different than it is here?"
Hey, what if the afterlife is just different than it is here? This is why I say I don't know about the afterlife, but I'm not going to tell you, yeah, you're going to go to heaven or you're going to go to hell. No one has ever proven that to be true. You know, it could be something totally different. You could actually just come back to this realm of life again. You know, maybe there's something you didn't accomplish here, or maybe there's something you didn't get right here, and you actually end up coming back here to this realm. So, this is why I say I don't know.
Maybe we don't need that physical cord anymore. The first goes, okay, if there were life after delivery, then tell me, why has no one ever come back from there?
Good question. If there's a heaven or a hell, why has no one ever come back from there and told us about this heaven or hell? Why has no one ever proven to us about this heaven or hell? Like, this is what I'm equating to this conversation in my life, in my life. I think that's a good question. Hey, if if it's life after delivery, I mean, why ain't nobody ever came back from he said, why ain't nobody ever came back to the womb after they've been delivered? That's funny.
Delivery is the end of life, and in the after delivery is nothing but darkness and silence and oblivion. It takes us nowhere.
So, in their perspective, once you're delivered, that's death. They feel like they're living while they're in the womb. We feel like we're living while we're in this womb out here. We feel like we're living. We feel like once we are taken from here, that's death. But they feel like they're living inside of that womb. We feel like we're living inside of this womb out here in the universe.
And the second says, but certainly we'll meet Mother, and she'll take care of us. The first goes, Mother? You actually believe in Mother?
So that sounds like myself when people talk to me about the existence of God. You know, God, you actually believe in a God? Like, why? Why? You've never seen a God. Why do you believe in the existence of a God? Why?
If Mother exists, where is she now?
If God exists, where is God? Where is this God?
And the second goes, she's all around us. We are of her. It is in her that we live. Without her, this world would not and could not exist.
Now, this goes to the conversation where when I'm talking to believers and they say, well, God has to exist. Not necessarily, because how else did we get here? How else do you have the stars, the moons, the trees, ourselves, and how else? Well, that would deal with creation, not the existence of a God. Remember, my position is not that there is no God. My position is I do not believe in the existence of a God or any gods due to lack of evidence of a God's existence. I've never seen a God. I've never seen a God. You can't prove to me a God doing anything. How did we get here? We were created. Could it have been a God or gods that created us? Of course it could have been. But does that mean that the God still exists after it created us? Creation is never my argument. My argument is the existence of a God or any gods.
And the first says, I don't see her. It's only logical that she's not here.
So that's what I be saying. Man, I don't see no God. I see creation, but I don't see a God. I see, for instance, Michael Jackson created a bunch of hits. Billie Jean, Bad, Human Nature, a bunch of hits. But the creator of that music can't show up to an award show to pick up an award. The creator of all those hits, Man in the Mirror, Want to Be Starting Something, the Jackson Five, um, Billie Jean, nobody can take away that he created those songs, but the creator of those songs no longer exists. So I be asking the question, what if this God or gods created us and simply moved on, and it's no longer here. It doesn't exist anymore. This is why I say my position is I do not believe in the existence of a God or any gods. I believe we're here. We're here by ourselves, figuring it out. We were given a brain to figure things out. There were there were tools inside of this brain to figure things out. I feel like videos like this are thought provoking on purpose because whatever created you, it created you with tools in your head to figure things out, not just to believe, not just to go through life believing. Just believing stuff is dangerous. You feel what I'm saying? You don't go through everyday life just believing things. You don't teach your children to just go through everyday life just believing things. Why do you do it when it comes to religions? You feel what I'm saying? All of these religions, all of them, none of them have ever seen their God. None of them. None of them. Not one religion. There is nobody who is famous to this day for presenting God to anybody. It's just what you believe. It's man created God, and that's when all the problems started. Now, again, my argument is never creation. I can't explain how we got here. But if there's a possibility that maybe this guy's job was simply to create and move on, or maybe this guy's job was to create and die, it doesn't show me that there's a God right now sitting over the top of us, pointing out our flaws and waiting on us to pass away so we can come stand before him in a judgment. There's nothing that proves to me that that is something waiting to happen. This is why when it comes to the afterlife, I just say, I don't know.
To which the second replied, "Sometimes, when you're in silence and you really listen, you can perceive her presence."
Now, with that being said, I asked a question. I remember when I was going through my awakening and I heard the voice talking to me, and I prayed, and I thought it was Jesus talking to me. And I remember my cousin saying to me, "Hey, cuz, when you were praying, what did that voice sound like that was responding to you?" And I really thought back and I really thought real deep. And it was at that moment that I said, whoa, that voice sounded just like me. It sounded like me. Yeah. So when that baby says, sometimes in your silence, you close your eyes or whatever, you can hear your higher self talking to you. You can hear your higher self communicating with you. This is why some people meditate to get more in tune with yourself. This is the difference between religion and spirituality. Religion, you go outside of you looking for answers. Spirituality, you're going to look inside of you for your answers. And if you're quiet enough and you're open to hearing that voice, ask yourself, what does that voice sound like when it speaks to you? That being said, I'm out of here. Peace, y'all.